Okay, welcome everyone. This is the KubeVirt Community Meeting on December 23rd, 2020. On the agenda for today, we have a topic from Edward around ARM64 support. Edward, all yours.
Okay, so thanks for having me here. I'm coming to this from an observation from the Harvester project from Rancher, which, as you may know, includes KubeVirt as one of its components. It does a hyperconverged infrastructure on top of Kubernetes with KubeVirt providing VMs and MinIO and another block storage thing, which I don't remember all the components, but anyway, there are a set of components that includes KubeVirt. It's working on x86. I have a desire to make it work on ARM64, and the outstanding issue is 3558 in the KubeVirt repository, where it looks like Howard Zhang is working on getting this to work. There was a update 3 days ago that one of the PRs for building the multi-arch test image of KubeVirt is blocked with a lack of response from one reviewer. So that's what I know. I didn't have the summary when I put this on the agenda, but it looks like there's progress, and once that additional review is in, it looks like we're in good shape to release KubeVirt for ARM64.
Hey.
Hey, David.
Looking at this issue, I'm trying to understand exactly what's preventing it from going in. And are we stuck on trying to get CI?
I believe the sticky point is indeed CI. In particular, there is the KubeVirt CI repository at issue 406. Looks like it has had who is I don't know these people, but it looks like there's been activity within the last couple of days.
I see the last update here from Federico, who is here in the meeting. I don't know.
This for this PR, the only missing thing is that we well, there's another PR reference to it in the project infra repo, and it is modifying the jobs that publish these images so that they can be pushed to Quay, because this is in parallel with our migration from Docker Hub to Quay. So this is the only thing that would be required. There's another change that we would need. It is in Go CLI. That this is the tool that spin ups the KubeVirt CI clusters, and now by default we are pulling the images from Docker Hub, and this is a small change. There's also another PR with a small change that changed the flag, the default value of one flag, so that it wouldn't require too many changes. But at the end, all this is more related to Quay, to the migration to Quay, because it doesn't imply that we start using these ARM 64 images. It is more about the migration. So it is not blocking the start using the multi-arc images at the end.
Okay. Well, it sounds from the discussion here that things are well in progress, and I'll look forward to the PRs resolving.
Sure. Is there anything I guess, what are your expectations with this? Just trying to understand what you would like to see come out of this. Are you hoping that we publish, I guess, ARM64 artifacts with our releases and things like that? Or is it enough for testing for us to just make it, enable people to build it so you all can begin evaluating it? Like what are the first steps for you all?
Yeah, so the hope is, and this is a process with a couple of steps along the way, right? Because once artifacts are published, it'll be easier to consume them by downstream projects. So the goal is for the artifacts to be built and published and released such that Harvester can now start testing with its infrastructure, consuming those binaries, and then producing this infrastructure for testing. Harvester, just to be clear, is in version 0.1, so there's a whole bunch of testing that's going to have to go on before it gets really released. And here at Equinix Metal, we're going to be working with them, I think, on integrating our Tinkerbell provisioning tool with Harvester. That looks like the next path. So anything that avoids the requirement that we build components from scratch will enable that effort.
Okay, so you all would be blocked if we didn't publish artifacts, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's, I mean, not 100% blocked, right? It would still be possible for someone who is extraordinarily diligent to build the whole thing. But from a CI and test perspective, it'd be much better to consume artifacts than to consume source.
Okay. All right, that's helpful. Some of the things that I've been thinking about with this ARM, and I'm just catching up to speed with it, is trying to figure out incrementally how we can begin enabling this before we just flip the switch entirely and say that we fully support ARM or whatever. And there's the step of when we start publishing artifacts that unless we have CI to completely exercise our entire functional test suite, we don't have any guarantees with that. So we'd be publishing artifacts that may or may not actually work. And that makes me a little bit nervous.
As well it should.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I want to enable people like you to begin testing and consuming it, but at the same time, figure out a way of doing that that doesn't make it look and appear like it's being fully a first-class citizen to our other release artifacts.
Right. So the other thing that I should bring up is that I run the Works on ARM project here at Equinix Metal, where we have infrastructure for projects just like this one to do test and CI. So if it would help your effort to bring it up to first-class citizenship, to have resources in the form of no-cost hardware, I think that would be. Actually, I think some of that is already going on. I think we've got some hardware dedicated for KubeVirt for the build and development process. We could swap it over to be a part of the regular test suite if that would help.
Interesting. So this would be a cluster that runs within your data center that we would have credentials for to execute tests.
This would be bare metal that you would be able to build a cluster on top of to execute tests.
I see. Okay. How would that be provisioned? Just understanding the tools that are available here.
You can, so to test KubeVirt, how are you currently testing KubeVirt?
We're it's not complicated, but it's kind of unique. We're running virtual machines within containers, and we're simulating a cluster within a container. So that allows us to run multiple kind of simulated environments all in one, like hardware. Like if we have a large vertical hardware, we can run multiple clusters on it.
Right.
Kind of bin pack. So we like that pattern for us. It involves having a cluster available to schedule these pods on that kind of run our tests.
Yeah, so we don't have that infrastructure as you describe right now. We do have some partners who are providing VM-based infrastructure, particularly FOSShost. I agree that it would be great to have the same test infrastructure for ARM as for x86. I mean, I think that makes sense to test it the same way. But I'd have to dig a little bit more into your CI world. I think that the answer is, raw access to hardware may not be the challenge. The challenge may be the software infrastructure to get things running.
If I can add also the people to manage it, to maintain it.
Oh yes, no question there. Although the folks at ARM have been very generous with their support for the management of things. It's just a matter of aligning everyone's interests and providing the right people with the right cooperation. So.
Okay, it sounds like there's resources that are potentially available. We just kind of have to track all this down. I think there's a path for us to get ARM support preliminarily, or just kind of the initial support merged, and kind of give us a path to eventually, hopefully, building artifacts and publishing them in the future. Okay, anything else we should discuss?
I have a question about that. So I understand the first step, but are we also going to include some heterogeneous cluster test where we have worker nodes of both x86 and ARM?
I highly doubt that that's going to happen anytime soon. That's.
I think that might be possible if the downstream harvester stuff has that same goal. There may be ways of leveraging other projects to do some of that heterogeneous testing. But as David says, it seems unlikely that the first round is going to be heterogeneous. It would make sense, right? I think that'd be a desired goal.
There isn't anything that prohibits it from working, right? It's just setting up the testing environment.
Technically, there's nothing prohibiting it from working. It doesn't fit the pattern that we're doing with the setup of clusters right now. So we're setting up clusters and simulating them on the same like one node. Like we have one node that we're simulating multiple nodes, like it's a nested cluster. So when we talk about doing something like a heterogeneous cluster, that would be a cluster that's set up in a different way, maybe already exists, that we just execute our tests on. So that setup phase would look different than what we have today. That's a discussion. So there's some nice things about the way we do it today, and that means that every time we start one of these simulated clusters, we start it from scratch and we tear it down, and we kind of get a lot of predictability and stability out of doing it this way. Once we consume a pre-existing cluster or it's done a different way, that's going to introduce some new challenges for us that we have to. I'm sure it would stabilize over time, but it would be something that's just because it's different would take us a little bit of time to work through.
And
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, got it.
But nothing prohibits somebody who is interested in this to create a new lane that has a completely different cluster setting up and then running their own subset. It would be very interesting to see a live migration.
Yeah, that was my point. I was aiming towards that.
Yeah, I'm sure that since it was never tested, it's probably broken. But
that would be great. And also, so we have some options here with our CI. If it's just beneficial to begin introducing these heterogeneous clusters and different ways of setting up and tearing down, we can add these lanes and not make them required. So it would be something where we begin getting data and understanding how our how stable it is and everything before we actually make it where it's a gating mechanism for code to get merged. So we have some options here. Just pointing that out.
Okay, so to summarize, initial ARM support seems to be relatively close. Not as initially, probably not as a first-class citizen, as David mentioned, and a longer-term goal would be to work on additional features like multi-arc heterogeneous clusters. Okay, anything else around that topic?
I'm set for now, and will be happy to report back anything I learn subsequently at future meetings.
Yeah, thanks for joining. This was beneficial.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, and cool. So there is no other agenda item in the regular section. Anyone has one last minute topic? If not, we will move to the open floor. A couple of topics there. Okay, so I wanted to mention, David actually sent an email a few days ago about the start of the preparation of the KubeVirt Summit, an online event. There's a link to the archive of the mail that David sent. Basically, we kind of secured dates for this first ever KubeVirt focused online event, 2 half days, 9 and 10 of February. And the plan is to have 2 different tracks, 2 different audiences, one more contributor oriented and another one more user oriented. But preparations are just starting, and this is a call for participation to the early preparation, as well as content can already be accepted. Some details are there on the proposal. The proposal is the suggestion for proposals is to accept PRs in the community repo, which can be reviewed in the open, and then we take it from there. Anyone who wants to contribute to the preparation or content, please feel free. You can reach out to the mailing list or to us. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know if anyone wants to add something about this.
I'll just add that I'm probably going to start pinging individuals because I think we have a lot of really cool things that have gotten added this year, and I want to make sure that people understand that it's valuable to talk about the things like, so for example, like features like hot plug, and we have the Tecton pipeline work that's come through, and even this ARM work.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, this topic, multi-arc and ARM support can be a very interesting topic to discuss.
It's very dense how much has changed this year, and I think we have an opportunity to share a lot of really interesting things. So I'll be sending out reminders. I know it's the end of the year. I didn't really necessarily expect to get any content before January 1st, just given how everyone's kind of slowing down. But I kind of wanted to get I think the goal here was just get everyone's minds thinking about what's occurred in the past year and what would I like to share with the community. And I think it's a great opportunity. So hopefully people jump on it.
Sure. Yeah, personally, one thing that I have on my to-do list of things to check was from the recent release, the removal of CapNet admin requirements. And well, I don't know, this is probably, I'm not sure if this is worth a session, but it's something that I haven't checked yet and I wanted to check. But anyway, that sounds interesting.
That's a really good topic. I think that the whole topic of reducing privileges from the launcher pod and kind of the vision moving forward. So the things you just mentioned about reducing some of the capabilities are kind of part of a larger vision. That absolutely belongs as a topic as well. There's just so many things. It's going to be great.
Cool. Okay, well, the only other thing I wanted to mention is that unless anyone objects, the plan is to cancel next week's meeting. Today we had limited attendance. Next week we expect to have even less attendance. So well, the suggestion is to meet again next year, starting, I think it's the 6th of January. Did I get that right? Yeah, 6th of January. I don't know if, actually, now that I see it, I don't know if the 3rd of January would have quorum for enough people for a meeting. Well, I'll double check with potential guests, and we might resume on the 3rd of January. Sorry, I didn't check that before. No, sorry, I'm looking at the calendar in the wrong way. So I was confused.
No,
Anyway,
the 6th is the correct date. Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong month. Anyway, yeah. Well, then I guess this shows up. We need some recharge time. So if nothing else, anyone else has any additional topic, anything else to discuss? No, if not, thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and I wish you all a nice end of the year and an even better start of the next year. So thanks, everyone, and I'll see you on the lists and Slack and in the next meetings. Take care.
Bye.
See y'all next
Happy
year.
Thank
holidays.
you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
celebration, everyone. So yeah,
Enjoy
Yeah.
and take care.
You too.
you too. Bye.
Bye.